Good morning and welcome to my greenhouse. To prune or not to prune tomatoes? That's the question. We have a blog post about it. You can read it. It's a very popular post because there seems to be a lot of questions. And I wanted in a video to show you what is what. Here we are having an indeterminate plant. What does that mean? It's a vine plant that will grow and grow and grow and grow higher. Most tomato varieties are actually indeterminate. Look at that fruit that is coming here. Beautiful, right? So, indeterminate tomatoes. Here's another one. Has completely different leaves. Leaves don't say anything about determinate or indeterminate, just a completely different variety. Indeterminate varieties we like to prune to one stem or maybe to two. Wait a minute, let me show you one with two. You see, here is the main stem coming, and then the tomatoes like to split. Some varieties do that more than others. Again, here's a beautiful fruit. And this year we trying to grow this variety. It's Pulsar, always pruning in two. But we do not let them grow more than two. There's another one. Do you have to prune indeterminate tomatoes? No, you don't. If you're okay with having a jungle of tomatoes, you can leave them grow as a jungle of tomatoes, but you would need a lot of support, more than we can offer in a greenhouse like this. Plus, in cold climate where we live, if we do prune them, they get bigger fruit and earlier. And it's so much easier to handle them. So what do you do when you prune tomatoes to one stem or two? You take out all the suckers. And the suckers are the thing that is growing between the leaf and the stem. Don't confuse it with the fruit. You see, there's a leaf, there's a sucker, and there's the fruit. So suckers are quite easy to see when they're still small. Again, there's a leaf, there's the stem, there's the sucker. But as the plant grows and the sucker grows, it is not always that easy to see what is what. Let me show you here. Can you see? Leaf, sucker, fruit, main stem. Okay? But let me find here an example where it is not as obvious. I don't think I have one because I always try to prune. Yeah, here is one. That's a good one. You see here, let me go from this side. It is very confusing sometimes. What is what? Can you see this? Here's the leaf. Here is the fruit. Here is the main point of growing. But what is that? Is that the main point? No, it's not. That's the sucker. But it is not between the leaf. Do you see that? Because the tomato is split, and this is Pulsar. They do that a lot. Do you see that? So in this case, if I am not sure, I always go, I hope you can see this better now. I always go by the fruit. Where does the fruit go? The fruit always goes with the main stem. See, this is the main stem. This is the fruit. This is the leaf. And this is the sucker. So this has to go. And sometimes I clip it off here. So, but sometimes you really can't see, and it is quite simple. And it happens to me too, to cut off the main growing stem. And if that happens, don't panic, just let the next one grow and it will be okay. Like here is another example, happens the same thing. You see there's the leaf and there was a sucker, and I cut that off, and there's another little sucker coming, but this is the main stem. Okay, there are lots of suckers right now. I need to get to work here to prune my tomatoes, and I wanted to show you what is what. So we only prune indeterminate tomatoes. We do not prune determinate tomatoes. And you want to say something too? Sure, yeah. My garden cat. Okay, so let me show you what determinate tomatoes look like. Sorry. Let's follow out the cat. Hey Evie. Will you let us through? Thank you. Determinate tomatoes we usually grow in our raised bed. And you probably have seen our raised bed if you follow us. I still cover those because it's still quite cool. So at night. So let's find a really good example and uncover it of a determinate tomato. Well, first of all, you will see that the plant is quite smaller, but that's not necessarily because it's determinate. It's because the plant is younger and is growing outdoors. It's much cooler here. And when you look at the plant, then you will see it has absolutely the same structure. You see that? Like here, that's a leaf, that's the stem, that's the sucker. Okay, and when we go higher, you will see the same thing here. You can actually see really, really good. Like that's the stem, that's the leaf, and that's the sucker. But we do not prune those suckers. Why do we not do that? Because it's a bush tomato. And a bush tomato grows only to a certain height. So meaning every sucker that grows will only grow to a certain height and stop growing. That is not true with indeterminate. Indeterminate tomato just grow and grow and grow and grow. So every sucker will grow, 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 grow. That's why we prune them. And here we do not. The only thing that I do prune here is leaves that touch the ground, because I don't want any disease to be touched, and otherwise I just let them grow, and you see they already have tomatoes, because determinate tomatoes are often earlier than indeterminate tomatoes. Okay, that's the difference. There is no difference in how the tomato grows. When you look at the growing, you know, they have suckers too, but we let the suckers grow. I hope this helps. Thank you so much for watching, and happy tomato growing.